You know that feeling when the days fly by, but your life stays exactly the same. You wake up, go through the same routine, and by the end of the day it feels like nothing has really changed. And worse, you know you could be doing more. But for some reason, the weeks keep passing, and that change you've been meaning to make, it always gets pushed to later. Here's the truth. What's holding you back isn't some massive obstacle. It's the small, daily decisions you don't even notice. And if you change just 5 habits, your life could take a massive leap forward in way less time than you think. In this video, I'm going to show you 5 simple habits that can completely transform your routine and get you on the right path, fast. But here's a heads up. The last habit is the most powerful of them all, and it's exactly where most people fail. So, if you're tired of feeling stuck and you're ready to finally take control of your life, stick with me until the end. If there's one thing that can change your life completely, it's realizing that no one is going to solve your problems for you. A lot of people spend years blaming their lack of time, their family, the economy, luck. But as long as you put the responsibility on something outside yourself, nothing changes. And that's the perfect trap to keep you exactly where you are. Now, think about this. How many times have you heard someone complaining about life, saying, "Nothing ever works out for me," or "The system is unfair"? What happens to those people? They stay stuck in the same situation because they're focused on the problem, not the solution. The truth is harsh, but it's also freeing. Taking responsibility for your life doesn't mean everything is your fault. It just means it's up to you to decide what to do next. 2 friends can grow up in the same neighborhood, face the same struggles, and still take completely different paths. One might push forward, look for opportunities, and build their own future, while the other spends years complaining about how unfair life is. What really separates them? Their mindset. And here's something crucial. Taking responsibility for your life doesn't mean you'll fix everything overnight, but it does mean you'll stop waiting for circumstances to change and start taking action, even if it's just small steps. If you don't like your job, what can you do today to start changing that? Can you improve your skills? Look for new opportunities? Switch career paths? If you're unhappy with your body, what small actions can you take right now to improve your health? It doesn't have to be drastic. Even something as simple as walking for 30 minutes a day can make a difference. And if your social life isn't where you want it to be, what can you do to step out of your comfort zone? Maybe send a message to someone, open up more, be more present. What separates those who move forward from those who stay stuck isn't the challenges they face. It's how they choose to handle. So starting today, make this commitment. Stop looking for someone to blame and start looking for solutions. That doesn't mean it's going to be easy, but it does mean that for the first time, you're taking control of what can be controlled. And that's the best position you can be in. If you've ever tried to change a habit or start something new, you know that the hardest part isn't taking the first step. The real challenge is sticking with it. How many times have you started something with excitement, only to give up a few weeks later? The gym, studying, a new project. At first, your motivation is sky high, but after a while, the excitement fades, routine kicks in, and before you know it, you're right back to your old habits. So what separates the people who actually make progress from the ones who are constantly starting over? Momentum. Momentum is that initial push that, when maintained, creates a wave of continuous progress. It's like trying to push a parked car. At first, it's hard, but once it starts moving, it gets way easier to keep it going. And here's the key insight. The secret isn't relying on motivation. It's relying on consistency. Motivation comes and goes. If you rely on it, you'll always find excuses not to take action. But when you build a system, a habit, taking action becomes second nature, and progress happens even on bad days. So, how do you maintain momentum in practice? Make starting easy. If you want to build a new habit, make the first step as simple as possible. Want to read more? Keep your book in plain sight, even if it's just to read a single page a day. Want to work out? Lay out your gym clothes the night before. The less resistance you have, the easier it will be to stay consistent. Eliminate distractions. Most of the time, it's not a lack of motivation. It's an excess of distractions pulling you off track. If something keeps interrupting you, like social media, TV, or even negative people, minimize its impact as much as possible. Build micro-victories. Small wins create a powerful psychological effect. If you can see yourself making progress, even if it's just a little, it gives you the energy to keep going. Track your progress, even with simple daily notes. Never stop completely. If you need to slow down, that's fine. but never stop entirely. If one day you can't do everything you planned, at least do the minimum. The key is to never lose momentum. The secret to progress isn't making huge leaps all at once. It's making sure you never stop completely. Most people set goals the wrong way. Most people define their goals like this. I want to lose 10 kilo. I want to make more money. I want to be more productive. These are outcome-based goals. And here's the problem. You don't have full control over the final outcome. When your goal is purely result-based, you risk feeling frustrated because the result might take longer than expected. And the more frustrated you get, the more likely you are to give up before seeing progress. Now, what if instead of focusing on the outcome, you focused on the actions that lead to it? Instead of, I want to lose 10 kilo, your goal becomes, I will work out 4 times a week and follow a meal plan. Instead of, I want to make more money, your goal becomes, I will send out 10 job proposals a week and learn a new skill. Instead of, I want to be more productive, your goal becomes, I will turn off my phone for 3 hours a day to focus on what really matters. See the difference? When you focus on actions, progress stays in your control. You don't have to wait for the final result to feel like you're moving forward. The most important insight: action-based goals create results, but focusing only on results doesn't create action. If all you think about is the final goal, you can spend weeks feeling lost, unsure where to start. But when you set clear actions, every small step moves you closer, without that overwhelming feeling of not knowing what to do. And the best part? This method reduces anxiety. When your goal is based on what you can do today, you stop stressing about how far you still have to go. The focus shifts from the future to the present. How to apply this in practice? Turn outcomes into processes. Every time you set a goal, ask yourself, what daily or weekly actions will get me there? If you want to read more, instead of saying, I want to read 20 books this year, commit to reading 10 pages a day. Track your progress. Keeping a record of what you've done helps maintain motivation. It can be a simple checklist, a journal, or even a habit tracking app. The key is to see your progress. Adjust as needed. If you notice an action isn't working, change the strategy. But never stop. If 10 pages a day feels too much, try 5. The key is keeping the rhythm. At the end of the day, the people who achieve great things aren't the ones who just dream about the final destination. They're the ones who master the process. And now, one of the biggest enemies of progress: overthinking and not taking action. In the next section, we'll talk about how to stop getting stuck in endless planning and finally start making things happen. How many times have you had an idea, a goal, or a project you wanted to start, but spent so much time thinking about it that you never actually took action? Maybe you've told yourself, I'll start on Monday. I just need to plan a little more before I begin. I'll do it when I have more time. The problem? That when never comes. This happens because our brain has a built-in defense mechanism against the unknown. Every time we face something new or challenging, it tries to convince us to wait for the right moment. But that perfect moment? It doesn't exist. If you're always waiting to be 100% ready before you start something, you'll end up standing still forever. The truth is, the biggest mistake you can make isn't doing something wrong. It's doing nothing at all. Think of any successful person you know. They didn't get where they are by waiting for the perfect plan. They took action, made mistakes, learned, and adjusted along the way. While some people spend months, or even years, planning a project without ever putting it into motion, others just start and refine things as they go. The difference between them? The courage to act. Now, you might be thinking, but what if I fail? The answer is simple. You will fail at some point, and that's okay, because failure is part of learning. What truly stops you from growing isn't making mistakes. It's not taking action. The danger of overthinking. Thinking is essential, but overthinking can be a serious problem. If you've ever spent hours, or even days, analyzing a decision without making any progress, you know exactly what I'm talking. This happens because the brain confuses thinking about something with actually doing something. You feel busy. You feel like you're preparing. But in reality, nothing is actually happening. This phenomenon even has a name: analysis paralysis. You get stuck in doubt, endlessly weighing the pros and cons, but never take the first step. And meanwhile, time keeps passing. The only way out of this cycle? Take action before you feel ready. How to stop overthinking and start taking action. Take the first step, no matter how small. It doesn't matter if you don't feel ready. Start from where you are, with what you have. Real learning comes from experience, not theory. Set short deadlines for decisions. If you take too long to decide, set a time limit. Something like, I will make a decision and act within 24 hours. This prevents you from getting stuck in endless doubt. Stop treating every decision as final. We often act like every choice is permanent, but most decisions can be adjusted along the way. Act with the information you have now. You can always tweak things later. Make action a daily habit. If you want to change your life, you need to take action consistently. Don't wait to feel motivated. Motivation comes after action, not before. The secret is move. At the end of the day, what really separates people who grow from those who stay stuck isn't intelligence, talent, or luck. It's their willingness to act. Successful people fail all the time, but they keep going. Meanwhile, overthinkers stay frozen, waiting for the perfect opportunity, which never comes. If you want real change in your life, you need to adopt this mindset. Start before you're ready, because real experience only comes from action. And now, let's talk about something even more powerful: how to find your own path, instead of just following random advice. We live in the information age. At any moment, you can pick up your phone and find thousands of videos, books, and posts teaching you how to live better, be more productive, and achieve success. But here's the problem. Not everything that works for others will work for you. If you've ever tried following someone's step-by-step guide, only to realize it didn't work in your case, you might have felt frustrated, but that doesn't mean you failed. It just means you need to adapt advice to your own reality. The truth is, there's no single path to success, happiness, or fulfillment. Everyone has a different story, a different routine, and different challenges and advantages. That's why the best thing you can do isn't blindly following every piece of advice you hear, but rather taking the ideas that resonate with you and shaping them to fit your own life. Why one-size-fits-all advice doesn't always work. A lot of the advice out there is based on one person's personal experience. That means it can be useful, but it's not a universal rule. For example, someone might say that waking up at 5 a.m. changed their life, but if your biological rhythm is different, that habit might just make you more tired and less productive. Another person might claim that quitting your job to start a business is the key to success. But if you have financial responsibilities and can't take that risk right now, that advice might be more harmful than helpful. Some people insist that reading a book a week is essential for personal growth. But if you learn better through hands-on experience, it might be more productive for you to absorb knowledge in other ways. Does this mean these pieces of advice are wrong? Not at all. It just means they need to be adapted to your reality. How to find your own path. Question everything. Before following any advice, ask yourself, does this make sense for my life? Does it fit my reality? If the answer is no, adapt it or discard it. Test it and observe the results. Instead of blindly accepting something as the absolute truth, try it out and see how it works for you. If a habit improves your life, keep it. If not, adjust it or try something else. Respect your own pace. Some people change quickly, others take more time. What matters isn't speed, it's consistency. A slow and steady progress is far better than trying to change everything at once and giving up after a week. Stop comparing your journey to others. Just because someone achieved results quickly doesn't mean you have to follow the same path. Your circumstances are unique, and what matters is finding what actually works for you. The balance between learning and taking action. Seeking knowledge is essential, but there's a hidden danger: getting stuck in learning mode and never taking action. Some people watch self-improvement videos every day, read dozens of books on success, attend motivational talks, but their life never changes. Why? Because they're trapped in theory mode, constantly searching for the best method, the perfect habit, the ultimate strat, but never actually starting. So, here's an important principle. Learn, but don't depend on learning to take action. Take the ideas that resonate with you and apply them as soon as possible. The real lessons come from experience, not just theoretical knowledge. At the end of the day, the only person who can decide what truly works for your life is you. Learn from others, but be the author of your own story. Test, adjust, and create a path that makes sense for you. And now, the most important part: taking action. Today, now you know the 5 habits that can transform your life quickly. But none of this matters if you don't put it into practice. So here's a challenge for you. Choose one habit that made the most sense to you and apply it today. No need to wait for Monday, next month, or the perfect moment. Just start. And to make sure you actually take action, drop a comment below. Which habit are you going to implement first? Also, If this video resonated with you, leave a like and subscribe to the channel. That helps me bring more content like this to you. And if you want to keep growing, watch the next video. I'll see you there.